Work has begun restoring a 200-year-old stately home in Abergele, which has been derelict for a generation. Gwrych Castle was built in the early 1800s and was one of the first buildings in Europe to copy the style of medieval castles. But it fell into disrepair and a campaign to save it was started by a local schoolboy. 20 years later, he's now leading the rebuilding. Chris Dearden reports.
Neglected for almost 30 years and vanishing into the vegetation, Gwrych Castle closed to the public in the 1980s and crumbled away while plans to redevelop it came to nothing. But step forward a young saviour. Mark Baker first became interested in the castle when he was 12.
I used to see the castle every day to and from school, so I went to school in Colwyn Bay, and throughout the 1990s we'd see it slowly disappearing and deteriorating, and I was at the age of 12 in the mid-90s and decided to kind of do something about it, and wrote it to the Prime Minister and the Prince of Wales.
And the young Mark Baker also set up a trust to save the castle. 2 decades later, he's 33 and the trust has managed to raise enough donations and grants to buy it. And things are already starting to happen. Vegetation is being stripped back and traditional building techniques are bringing the castle back to life.
In a very, very short space of time, we've seen things go into a frenzy. It's really an explosion of activity. So all our volunteers are still on board and they're all putting their good skills to use. And we're also now able to have more contractors come, and we're actually seeing far more progress on some of the more important parts of the castle.
The Trust's volunteers say Gwrych Castle is special because it was one of the first stately homes in Europe to copy the style of older medieval castles.
There's been a house on this site for several hundred years, and what you see behind me was mostly built in around about 1810 onwards by the heir of the Lloyds of Gwrych, who were the hereditary family, and he wanted to build a monument to his mother's family and to her memory. So he went around all of the great castles of Wales and kind of created this in his imagination.
But it will take a while before the castle looks anything like the original builders imagined. The Trust says it will take at least another 10 years' work and more grant applications to restore the main building. For Mark Baker, what began at age 12 may well take a lifetime.